All right, we're talking branding and paid ads with Maureen Jann of Pointed Digital Marketing. Welcome to the show, Maureen.
Thank you for having me. Exciting. Super fun.
Thank you. Maureen's the Director of Marketing over at Pointed. Pointed Marketing is an agency focused on paid search, search engine optimization, display advertising, and social media advertising. What else do you do over at Pointed?
We're doing a lot of programmatic right now too, which is all the rage, as you well know. So spending a lot of time talking about data and access to data, right, and the flexibility of ad units. And we're doing some experiments ourselves in-house, which is really fun. And it's been interesting to be a client of ours for Programmatic. So that's been an interesting experience.
So you're marketing for them as well as utilizing them.
Hey, if you have in-house services like SEO, PPC, Programmatic, you might as well take advantage, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Maureen, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Maureen Jann. I've been at Pointed for about 2 years. I've had the pleasure of helping them build their marketing department here through content marketing and other fancy, useful things like podcast guest stars and tweet chats, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And before that, generally my history has been built around helping small and medium businesses grow marketing departments. So it's always interesting to learn from a business challenge perspective how similar businesses are when it comes to like marketing. It's just about, in this case, it's like eating your own dog food because you do marketing for a living and you should be marketing your marketing. But in other cases, it's just not knowing how to talk about yourself in a really coherent and effective manner. And then also making sure that you have the infrastructure to capture leads that come in. And that's a real challenge too for a lot of companies. So it's been a lot of fun to dig into all of that and help people become more successful. And here we have a service mentality, right? We're selling our services, which is really selling our people's talent. And so for us, digital, like branding, personal branding is a big part of what we do. So it's been a lot of fun helping people develop that, their focus.
Oh, fantastic. So, you're developing your team's personal branding, and I highly applaud that because those who are marketers need to know how to build their reputation and build their value in the marketing community because, anybody who's in that needs to be able to give back, needs to be able to share lessons learned, almost like an open source type of forum. Is that you want to be able to show what are the best leading tactics and be able to separate the wheat from the chaff, and thusly you can actually really springboard a rising star, right?
Right. And, it's really about showing, not telling, right? Yeah. And if you're out in the market and you're talking the talk and you're showing people your value and your unique proposition, then you're giving them an opportunity to really get deep insight into the way that you build partnerships and how transparent you are and what kind of expertise you carry. So it's a huge part of, making sure that, especially in digital marketing, especially as an agency, there's a lot of challenges that come with that.
Right.
And building trust is a number one priority. And I think you do that by being a person who adds real value to other marketers' lives.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. That is part of the context, part of the marketer's life cycle is they've got to plug into their community. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Well, you're out of Seattle, I see.
Yes. We've had some very moody weather this morning. It's been very exciting.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is it raining? But
it was raining, and then it started hailing, and then it started snowing, and then it started raining again, and now the sun's out.
That's a full gamut weather
in one day.
In just a couple of hours.
Yeah, so I think here we're 60-ish, upper 60s tomorrow, and then on Saturday we're going to go down to 39.
Yeah.
Wow.
Literally, we're losing almost 40 degrees.
That's the worst. I do a lot of walking in my commute. And so like in the springtime, it's like 35. And then by the time you get home, it's 65. And I'm like, how do you dress for that? Come on.
Well, yes, you do dress, but you just got to pick one and run with it. And if you're
hot or cold, too bad.
Yeah, exactly. Just wear a tank top and just suffer. So your job, and we talked a bit about what your job entails. Give us an idea of your talents, your skills, and what brought you to that position.
I had the pleasure of helping a company get purchased about 3 years ago. Xerox bought them. They were a learning company. So I helped sort of stage the house to help them launch, which was really exciting. But
cool.
The next steps weren't really for me. So I decided to go and find another opportunity that I thought would be interesting and exciting and give me a chance to flex my skills. And so I found Point It, and it turns out like the culture here is so incredible. I couldn't say no. And it just keeps getting better every day, which is hard because I'm a skeptic. I'm pretty, I'm a little cynical. So saying that it's a big deal for me. What brought me here, and that's what brought me here, and what I'm passionate about, and what gets me really excited is really talking about how to add value to prospect and consumers in a way that's useful and helpful. So like we develop content marketing programs, but that's like a very loose term, I'd say.
Right.
Our content marketing programs are really more, they expand way past just like creating articles and blog articles.
Right,
if you're doing it right, you're exploring that avenue in a way that's meaningful and experimental on some levels. So we've been doing something called micro lessons. And so we've been taking our webinars, which are generally bottom of the funnel stuff, and turning them into the type of lesson that you can consume on the go, like while you're waiting for a bus, or if you're waiting for your doctor's appointment, or you're on whatever moment that you have to consume learning.
Right.
We have this opportunity where you can actually consume it in less than 10 minutes chunks. So you want to know what are the common goals between SEO and content marketing? Well, we have a video for that, and you can consume it in 4 minutes. So it's been fun to take advantage of the ever expanding opportunity to help marketers keep up, because that's one of our biggest challenges, isn't it? It's really talking about, it's keeping up with everything that goes on in a way that's meaningful. And that's our job. And so we have this unique opportunity to just share with a group that's just really, it struggles to handle that on a level.
But you're absolutely right, and that's a fantastic method and direction, because you're literally you're tapping into the marketer's experience. Their busy schedule, and it's not just cliche to say busy schedule. Digital marketers are literally inundated with social streams, content streams, video, podcasting. I mean, literally, my podcast list is 293 podcasts I have not listened to.
That's kind of depressing, isn't it?
It really is.
Do you start feeling bad about yourself?
Yes,
am
guilty.
I behind?
I know. I'm sorry I couldn't get to that podcast.
Yeah, right.
But a perfect example of what you're doing is Neil Patel's podcast is getting updated every day, and it's 6 minutes long.
Right?
And
I love that.
And that's a commute time. That's barely a commute time. That's a quick drop in the bucket, and I can actually change to another podcast. I can do 2 or 3 as I'm in my consuming time driving to work, right? That's what we're talking about.
Go ahead.
No, go right ahead.
Oh, and I selfishly, so we have a podcast as well. It's called Fine Point Digital Marketing.
I was going to get there.
Oh, no, I was just going to talk about like how I selfishly actually engineered the length of our podcast to fit in my walk.
for yourself.
Well, you got to listen back. I don't want to have to do it in multiple bits and bytes. I can do this in one walk. It takes me about 28 minutes to get to the office, walking. So I'm like, hey, this sounds like a good time. And plus, who has more than 30 minutes to spend on anything? Let's just lay that out there.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. I get pushback all the time. We usually go about an hour 20 on this thing, and I get yelled at all the time that we're going overboard.
Oh, well, I can see that. I jumped around when I looked at your podcast because I needed to get the good bits, So I'm sure it was all fabulous, but those were the bites that I was really digging into.
Where are the good bits, Tom?
Well, you guys are so handsome. It's hard to get away from that.
I appreciate that. Wow. I don't know where to go there. I'm just going to hang. That's the good bit right there.
You've never been called handsome on the show before.
I never haven't. I know.
I think you need more ladies on here then.
That's going to be my ringtone for you from now on.
I just think it's fantastic that you're getting called handsome on a podcast.
Oh, okay. The snark just flew through. That's Doug Carr.
Hi, Doug.
Wow. Did you see that?
Yeah, out of nowhere.
He just lobbed that one in there. With the insult. Oh, my gosh. Nice. Doug Cars with DK New Media and Martech Zone, and we certainly appreciate him on the show as well. We wanted to talk about branding and paid media, and kind of jumping in there. Which paid platform do you think has the largest growth potential by 2020?
We're definitely we see programmatic being the most flexible, the best targeting options, the most fine grain audience building. I am just butchering this.
No, go right ahead. Hey, don't worry about
it. So programmatic is definitely where our focus is on the most lucrative, the most flexible, the best targeting that you're going to get out there. I think it combines all of the good parts of the rest of paid media and gives you the flexibility of some additional ad units, which I just don't think we have enough access to in the individual platforms. So it's been very exciting to see that grow. And I'm sure that like you're reading eMarketers just as well as we are. It's talking about how, the growth of programmatic. But really, like the types of results we're seeing is just, they're incredible. And it's really...
our listeners vary in all levels of experience in marketing. Tell those new listeners who haven't experienced programmatic before, give us a snapshot of what that does.
Okay, this is a complex topic, and sometimes I end up down a rabbit hole on it, so bear with me.
That's all right. It's all right.
So programmatic is essentially the idea that you can purchase premium ad inventory types at a lower cost because you're buying remnant ads through ad providers. So basically you have your end site where the advertisement shows up, you have the people who broker those ads, and then you have the buyer. And so because the brokers are buying in bulk, that the advertising can be reduced in cost. And those brokers also have the opportunity to tap into a variety of really incredible data sources. So the targeting for your audience can be very, very fine-tuned. It's very... So it's been exciting to see like the type of opportunities from everything from native ads to text ads to in-email advertisements.
Right.
And then on top of it, you can focus those end destinations to be perfectly aligned with your demographic audience. So for instance, we're doing a programmatic ad campaign right now for Point It. And we're actually doing, we're putting programmatic ads in digital marketing newsletters. So we're actually buying the inventory for digital marketing newsletters and then serving those ads in that space. So we know that they're interested in digital marketing. We know that they're generally marketing directors. We know all this stuff. And so we're serving ads in that space, which is pretty cool and a little unusual. Like you don't think about that so much in advertising, but that's only one teeny tiny slice of like the variety of ads we're serving. So we get to pitch all of these ads out into the world to help drive awareness about our programmatic offerings. And then we get to see what worked. And then even more so take those learnings that we get from the high converting audiences, and we get to use that information to serve the rest of our marketing channels. Oh, wow. So that's pretty exciting.
It's very exciting. Now, Programmatic is a software platform as well. Well, you've got the concept of Programmatic. What software programs are you utilizing to be able to mine that data?
So there are a variety of providers that hook into things like the Trade Desk, and the Trade Desk is the one that we most frequently use. Right. So we spend a lot of time, but then there's a variety of data providers like PushSpring who deal with like mobile data, the type of mobile data that you would get from, do you have this app on your phone and do you use it? And what sort of information are you offering up, and what are you requesting? And it takes that and compiles it and helps, me as an advertiser better target my ads based on your usage. So, I mean, it's really, it's behavioral. It's very specific. It can be, it can be situational. Like, is it specifically the people you want to target on your phone? For instance, like I keep getting served on my ads on the weather because I'm a digital marketing person who checks the weather a lot.
As well you should. Yep. That is beautiful, and what programmatic the concept represents is that intermediary grooming and formatting of big data into a space that's more consumable, into containers that are more useful for us as marketers, right?
Yeah, it's like V2 of big data, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody wants to hear that word ever again. They beat it to death. But the fact of the matter is before it was like all data, no context, but now we're finding that we have some real excellent context.
Absolutely.
And some applicable ways to use that data.
Very good. Very good. So your favorite paid media platform is?
Oh, well, I would call it Trade Desk.
There we go. Very good. So from a branding standpoint, let's switching gears into here, and I'm just going. Sure. I'm just kind of tripping across the top here, and you feel free to jump in and take a deep dive wherever you want. From a branding standpoint, how often do you think companies should rebrand or seriously take a look at changing their branding to stay relevant?
Okay, so I have a very strict every 2 years rule. Like you want somebody to take a look at least refresh. So when I got to Point It, we had just done a rebrand for the actual logo and the overall like look and feel of the brand. So the website was just redone, so we left it alone. We added some additional tools, but 2 years later, fast forward 2 years, we kept the logo because it looks great, but the website needed a refresh. So we actually just launched our brand new website probably last summer that reflected just a more modern feel. So generally, that's what I recommend to my clients too, because I'm also a consultant on the side. Because who isn't?
Yeah, it's the name of the game out here, isn't it?
Right. I have a couple of clients that I work with that are always very interesting, and they're good sports. They let me constructively criticize their brand pretty regularly. And so I definitely recommend people look at it about every 2 years. Make sure that even if your logo doesn't need to be refreshed, that the user experience that you're offering is keeping up with the demand of the user, which changes so frequently, right? Like my expectations change all the time. And I blame Amazon.
Yeah, because I would too. I would too, because I mean, they're training the audience, are they not?
Yeah, absolutely. And the volume that they get through their website, it makes them best practice owners. They're the owners of what works and what doesn't. And you just have to, listen.
Well, they've got troops and tribes of individuals that are grooming over this user data. Absolutely. They know what they're doing. Well, do you think Twitter will ever come back around, or is it maybe just a pool of noise out there? Boy, I'm just jumping all over the place from concepts here.
I have opinions about everything, so you're safe with me. I will talk through everything. Twitter, I'm a huge Twitter user. I love tweet chats. In fact, we're actually doing a tweet chat. I'm hosting a tweet chat tomorrow, so that's a lot of fun.
I heard you were doing that, yes.
Yeah? Right on. So I'm a huge fan of Twitter. I think Twitter is the way you can actually connect with community. I think Facebook is a more passive consumption of information where you can toss things out there, but the comments section just tends to be a troll fest.
Yeah.
Whereas, you can go down that road when you're looking at Twitter, but personally, I believe that Twitter is a place for communities to get together. Hashtags are an incredibly powerful way for you to have like the new water cooler conversation.
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I think what I enjoyed about Twitter the most is the only social network that you don't have to personally know the person to have that communication with. Facebook, I always feel awkward when people I don't know want to be friends with me on Facebook. Same thing with LinkedIn. It's a little bit more flexible, I think, with LinkedIn.
Right.
But Twitter is like, I don't know this person, but I'm going to follow them.
Yeah.
So that's why I enjoy Twitter.
It's the great equalizer, right? Like I have reached out to people I never in a million years thought would talk to me. And I've gotten personal responses, and I'm all fangirling out, ooh, Ann Handley responded to me.
Absolutely. And so what you're finding are these platforms that are truly uniquely positioned for a tactic of a brand. Okay. And so this is where I'm going around about here. Talk to me about Facebook Live for a second. What do you think about Facebook Live? Now, we're using Facebook Live, so be gentle.
Right.
But what do you think about that as an innovation for a brand?
I think it's an interesting way to go. There's a time frame that I always struggle with, like how long are you going to sit in front of Facebook watching a video?
Sure.
I think that's the struggle that I have with Facebook Live. I do love the idea of Facebook Live, and especially as we lose live video competitors in the space. We need somebody to own it and be good at it and offer us the kind of features that are important to serving it well, especially as companies trying to utilize it. So that's a tricky one. So far, so good, right? We're actually just getting into video as a major tactic this year, just because it's really resource heavy and you want to do it right. So we're looking at using Facebook Live for on-the-spot interviews at like conferences. And I think for that, it's super effective. And if you ask one really meaningful question and you get somebody on the floor sharing a real candid opinion about that, I think that you have an opportunity to really utilize that as a brand to collect the type of information that's going to inform the way you go to market.
What are your thoughts about Facebook expanding into doubling down on the Facebook Live and really trying
to go to town?
Yeah. Well, again, that makes what I'm kind of seeing here is the brand that we're talking about and the need for a refresh or a reface every 2 to 3 years, right?
Sure.
You're saying you need to be looking at your digital tactics even more so in a narrow period of time, and also looking at the new and innovative pieces. And I may be speaking academically here, but there's so many things changing regularly, and those platforms are experimenting, right?
Sure.
We need to be able to jump in there and see what's valuable, what's not. Some brands will never make its way to Facebook Live. Just not going to happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, because it's a resource heavy project, a video of any kind is, and there's just some people who just don't have that resource, right?
Right, exactly. But I mean, there's different types of video live. So there's it's almost just like the programmatic side of things, where you are seeing the contextual nature of media, right? You need to start looking at patterns and types of schemas for different brands. And okay, this tactic, and this is what marketers do. This tactic or these series of tactics have a great fingerprint or footprint for this type of brand, this type of industry, this type of service. So are things starting to standardize to the degree where we can put a type of template of marketing around, albeit that I know we have to be unique in our delivery mechanism and our message, but are the schemas starting to are they coalescing, or is it still a wild, wild west out here?
I feel like we're still in the middle of a big transformation. When we got live video, I think that really shook people up, and it changed the way that we approached it. I think it kind of they eased us into it, right? Because we had Vine for a while, and you're like, 6 seconds. What are we going to do with that? And then we add we get Meerkat, and that comes, and you're like, oh God, what is happening? And then and then we get Snap and Snapchat and their the messaging and their version of live video as well. So I feel like that really shook up the industry in a way that's still making us reconsider what that looks like for advertisers and brands and the way they approach a live video. I think that in the next 6 months it'll stabilize to a degree. Of course, until they monetize it, and that will just mess it all up again.
Exactly. Then everybody will tune out. I really do believe, and I've been talking about this for a number of shows, and I think my staff they're getting really sick of hearing this. I really think that Facebook's going to be doubling down into a full universe of channels, Facebook Live channels, where there's going to be constant media that Facebook doesn't want you to ever leave. They don't want you to go to Netflix for content. Facebook's going to want to deliver content right into this sandbox that is Facebook. They don't want you to leave. It's like Hotel California, right?
Have you ever been to the Hotel California? Because I have, and it's weird.
I've heard it's kind of strange.
Yeah, but the margaritas are good, just for the record. I think I love where you're going with that. I think that's really interesting. It's like the new TV, right? I'm a cord cutter, a long time cord cutter. I'm 3 years, which makes me
sweet.
A million years old, something like that. I don't know, whatever.
You're the early adopter.
Right. So I like the idea of having them stream, but it's interesting. I don't know if the market is choosing Facebook, because if you remember all of the political streaming, that was very carefully chosen by brands to be Twitter. Yeah. They were the place to go for live video. So it's interesting. I like where you're going with that, but I'm just curious how that's actually gonna manifest.
Well, I mean, then there's the other side of the equation where we are dealing with fake news and dealing with filtered news. Are we, again, I mean, just same with Google, is we're putting all content in the hands of Google, and they are deciding, or they're about to decide, which is relevant, which is truthful, right? So all these platforms are now putting their you hate to say it, but bias caps on what they want to allow through their system, right? So,
and I appreciate that personally, because I know that there's shenanigans going on out there, right? And it's just, and we have algorithms to choose site quality all over the place.
Right.
But now maybe it's site content quality that we need to start evaluating, because any Tom, Dick, or Harry can write about anything.
Yeah.
You know.
I take offense to that.
Tom,
my apologies. My bad.
That's right.
We have a Harry on staff too. My gosh, that was 2 out of 3.
Nailed it.
Yep, fantastic. Well, what if I could boil down? What are some basic things that can help us make advertising more effective from a digital brand perspective? I know that's such a general thing, but from our listenership, I mean, what are some basics that should be part of every marketer's toolbox when it comes down to branding and not so much paid ads, but potentially paid ads? What should they be doing to start off with?
So I have 2 flags that I wave, and I actually thought about getting flags so I could wave them here, because that's sometimes it needs to be literal. You know what I mean?
We'll do that. We'll do that in post.
Please do. Feel free. So the 2 things that I'm really passionate about is user experience. It doesn't matter how you're driving them to your properties. You need to make sure that whole experience is seamless, pleasant, and helpful. And if it's not, you're going to lose people, and you're going to lose trust, which is way more important than even traffic, right? Because you can have the best traffic, but not very much of it, that are high converters and love you and consume your content. But if you don't provide an experience that builds that trust, then it doesn't matter paid or unpaid, you're screwed, right? I mean, that's the baseline. User experience is a huge part of marketing, and I think it gets overlooked too often. So that's my first big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to be cognizant of what your user are experiencing from a UX standpoint. I mean, some of the best design never insists on itself. It gets out of the way.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think that in our experience, what we do is we see ads, right? You see that ad with that promise, and you click on that ad, and they take you someplace that doesn't deliver on that promise. And that's, it is such a big deal for us as marketers.
Right.
We want to say one and done, or we hire an agency, or we hire a space that helps manage those ads. But then we forget about the rest of that. What does that look like? Down to the nurture program that comes from content after they download whatever you're trying to push on them, right? Make sure you're adding value at every step. I went to Content Marketing World this year, and I don't know if you've been there, but it's really fun. It's a great time.
We want to go.
Oh, you should go. It's great. But one of the sessions I saw was talking about onboarding your new prospects. And I was like, oh, wow, what a cool idea. How did I not think of that? It's the idea that you have invited them to your house, and now you need to show them where the kitchen is and the bathroom is and the stairs are, so they don't fall down them. Right. It's just basic things that you don't think about as a brand, but you're inviting them into your house, and you need to show them around. And I think that you have that opportunity with every user experience step that you put forward. And I just think that's a huge part of doing good digital marketing.
Absolutely. And I'd be remiss if I didn't pull this phrase into the show again. Tying the user experience into the buyer's journey. I mean, give us a quick sentence about the buyer's journey content as it applies to the user experience. I think you already have.
Well, I mean, go ahead.
I think you already have, but maybe in a different way.
Right. Well, I mean, once you get them to the site, I mean, you have to be crafting that experience from both that user experience perspective and a funnel perspective. I mean, if you're not doing that, you're wasting your time and your money and your effort, and you might as well just go home. So I believe that you take that whole idea and for us, we use the awareness, consideration, or understanding and consideration funnel.
Yep.
And so we try to make sure that every step of the way we're nurturing, what we know about our clients and how they consume content and how we provide value and what does that look like for them, and what's the best way to make it natural to take them from just a visitor to a client.
Fantastic. All right, I'm gonna wrap up with a couple quick questions for you, if you don't mind. And these ones are out of left field. What are the biggest differences between crocheting and knitting?
Oh God, one's a hook and the other one's a needle. Crochet uses a hook. Knitting has needles, so they're totally different. However,
one's a weapon.
Fun fact. Yeah, right. All of them go towards dirty jokes very easily.
Oh, tell me a yarn.
No.
No.
So, but what's funny is a fun fact, crochet wasn't actually developed until much later. Knitting is like an ancient art, but crochet is not as efficient, so it didn't get developed until later when yarn was mass produced. So there you go.
Very, very interesting. Now, we say that we're asking Maureen that because Maureen loves crochet, and
that's right.
And a fun fact here is you can make a crocheted hat in how fast?
I think it was an hour and a half. Is that what I claimed?
Yep. And
yes,
we've got plenty of time now, so go.
Yeah, it was a very small baby, though.
Sadly, no.
So you can listen to one of our podcasts in the time you crochet a hat the next time.
Wow.
There you go. See, I'm doing it wrong. I'm clearly doing it wrong.
Yeah, we are hat crocheting content consumption.
There you go.
There's a tagline there somewhere.
I think you're right.
We've read in the bio that you're passionate about unusual shoes.
Oh, yes, I am passionate about shoes.
What are the most unusual shoes that you've seen or owned? And how many pairs of shoes do you own? Or is that something is that something we should ask?
So asking about how many shoes you own is a little like asking what a woman's age or weight is.
I kind of figured.
Okay.
Who gave me that?
But
Who gave me that question?
I would say 40 pairs, maybe 60.
All right.
And my most unusual pair of shoes are a pair of canary yellow short booties with a pointed toe and a buckle that look like they're made out of lace.
Oh my God, I have those too.
I'm so embarrassed. I'm wearing them right now.
Oh, now you got to put them on camera. Now we got to see them.
No, they're in the bag. I'm wearing my booty kicking shoes today. I was a little nervous, so I figured it'd be better to, fake it till you make it.
Well, we've never been to Seattle, but what is one thing you would suggest someone visiting Seattle do? The lesser known, the better.
What's off the radar in Seattle?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that people talk about the ferries here, but they are the best, cheapest cruise you can get. $8 gets you a 2-hour cruise round trip across the Sound. It's the best.
Again, you can listen to an entire Edge of the Web podcast during that cruise.
I usually work, though. I'm actually a daily ferry commuter, so I actually ride a boat twice a day for an hour.
Oh, that's cool.
As part of my commute. So it's a little odd, but, there's bar and there's beer, so it's okay.
That's not a commute. That's a party right there.
That's true. It's a happy hour. You're right.
Floating happy hour. Hey, is there anything that we can promote for you?
So we actually just released a paper called The 5 Myths of Programmatic Advertising, and it's on the homepage of our website. And if you're interested in learning a little more about what programmatic, programmatic is a little mysterious, it's complex, it confuses people sometimes. And especially if you're doing your research right now about programmatic, it's a great time to go read up on things that we have heard, things that we know, things that, just take advantage of the expertise that we have available to us by, reading some of our content. So on the homepage, you can see it. It's got a giant picture of the Loch Ness Monster because, if you're going to do myths, you might as well do it right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're certainly going to put the link on the show notes on Edge of the Web Radio. Yep. And we'll certainly talk it up. Hey, you've been a fantastic guest. Is there anything, any last minute thoughts that you want to give to maybe aspiring marketers that are wanting to do it the right way?
Yeah. Sure. I think that it's important. Like we have a really small team. If you're just starting out, or you're just you're working on a small scale, I don't think you can't do great things. Like we have a team of 3 and a bunch of contractors, and the volume that we're able to put out and the quality we're able to put out is really, really fantastic. Thanks to just being efficient and effective, and hustling. If you're new, hustling is the name of the game in marketing. You can't do it without it. So show up every day with your whole self, get excited about what you're doing, hug a tree. I don't know. But yeah, there's lots of good stuff going. Well, I live in Seattle. You have to think about it.
Trees are everywhere.
Yeah,
you can't walk out the door without.
It's exciting. Marketing is a fabulous place to be. I encourage lots of people to get
Fantastic. Well, we certainly appreciate the time today. Maureen will be watching. Are you going to be speaking anywhere soon?
Yeah, I'm actually speaking on a panel about community at Content Marketing World in September. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're going to plan on getting out there this September. That'd be fun.
Come out. We'll have fun. I'm actually thinking about doing my podcast on the floor. I think that would be really cool.
Oh, yes. We have had those thoughts in our own basket over here, too.
Yeah. You could come be my guest.
Oh, see, nobody's ever asked me that before.
Full circle. It comes full circle.
There's some sort of inception happening here. It's creepy.
Right.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Maureen. And we're certainly going to be shooting this out on Tuesday. We'd love to see some social love and some retweets about the podcast. We're going to go break down some of the key points that you made during the show. And thank you so much for your time. We'll be watching you from afar, and good luck at Pointed. Who else did we interview with Pointed over there?
Tim. I forget his last name, but he's your social ads. I think it's Tim.
Oh, Ian Mackey.
Ian Mackey. There we go. Ian Mackey, and then Maddie Carey.
Maddie Carey. Yep. Both great folks. So
Absolutely.
Fun to have on.
Absolutely. We had a great time and very uncomfortable conversation with Maddie. It had to do with Beyonce.
I may have to go look it up now.
Well, check out that Beyonce clip that we had up there. I'm sure Tom will even send it over to you. It was one of those rare moments that I went down the rabbit hole and never came out. Anyway.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, we have to wind up on that note. I'm so sorry. Maureen, it's been fantastic and a pleasure, and we'll certainly be watching what you do in the marketing realm. So keep it real, okay?
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me.
Will do. Thanks so much.